Welcome back to another episode of Projecting Grandeur. I am your host, Ron Dichter. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for being part of this growing community. Today, we talk about childhood. Actually, we talk about stories. And I want everyone to think back to when you were a kid, at whatever age that was, and somebody started a story. And the story went a little bit like this: Once upon a time, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as you hear that once upon a time, the child would lean in with all sorts of excitement and ready to listen to their story. And you think of some of the greatest movies in history, or I should say the most popular movies in history, and really the one that stands out is Star Wars. And you think about the beginning of every Star Wars movie, and it always starts the same way: once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. And it compels you to read this long scrolling text that is in this weird sideways shape coming across the screen, because you want to hear about this story. You want to know where this goes. And inevitably, in that story, once you get through your once upon a time, you start talking and introducing your characters. And stories are a great way that you, as an entrepreneur, can get your message out. We've talked a lot over the last, 6 months about knowing your why. We've talked a lot about understanding, how to edify and motivate. We've talked a lot about these things, but crafting a story is something that requires a bit of nonfiction. And oftentimes you hear a lot of people that will fabricate stories about whether it's the origin, which we've talked about, or whether it's about a new product or feature, or whether it's just about the business in general. But it's really hard to authentically fabricate a story about your business. And you need to think about the truest form of your business, and then you need to craft your story around that. And I know that there's a lot of people out there, and I've talked to a ton of people about this, where you ask them about their business and they I think underplay. Maybe they're being modest, or maybe they just don't see it through the POV of somebody else. But they talk about their business as it's no big deal. Like, these things are not Herculean efforts, and it's just something I did. And they don't really appreciate the story that really is shown to the outside world about their business. Because no matter who you are, no matter where you started from, every business has struggles, and every business has challenges that they need to go through, whether it's in the startup phase, or whether it's as you're getting going, or maybe if it's even as you scale from a small to a medium, and a medium to a large business. Like, we have these, different moments in our business story that, when you think about them in long form from the outside world, seem pretty amazing what the business was able to accomplish. And as the entrepreneur, as the leader of your business, being able to tell that story in a very compelling fashion is really, one of the most important parts of your job. It's being able to understand the amazing that happens within your business. And again, you're in it every day, right? You're in the fight. You are living it day after day. And what might happen over the course of a day, a week, a month might not seem transformative to you. But think about that starting point. Think about that moment when that first thing came up. And then maybe it was 30 days, maybe it was 6 months, maybe it was a couple years that you had to do this thing within your business to help shape it, to help grow it. And then really try to unpack that into a story that, if you stretch it out and you look at it kind of in its different pieces, is really, really special. And I don't think that we as entrepreneurs do a great job of being able to tell our own story. And if you're like me, like, I don't actually enjoy talking about myself. I don't enjoy talking about any accomplishments. And I am that guy that thinks, well, it's just no big deal. But when you talk to other people, they're like, how did you do that? And I think that a lot of people have that story, that amazing moment, because we're all the same, right? We're all people. We're all starting out from, different places fiscally, but we're all humans, right? So we all have the same potential capabilities. And it's what you do with those capabilities that makes that story compelling. So if you're thinking about, your business, and you're trying to whether it's rally your internal troops, whether it's talk to your current or prospective customers, whether it's about going on an interview or creating new marketing where you're trying to be able to tell the story of your business. My encouragement to you is to look at your business through somebody else's POV, somebody else's point of view, and really look at like these mini stories that happen within your business and use those mini stories as opportunities to be able to showcase to the world, what that story is that your business tells. Because that once upon a time or that long, long time ago at the starting point of your business is really, really exciting, really compelling. And that will be the messaging that's going to help propel your business, your marketing, your sales, your team growth, the morale, all of it comes from that story. So know your story, and maybe you have multiple stories within your business too, right? Every business doesn't just have one storyline, and there could be a lot of different storylines that you can follow. So know your story or your stories, know how to stretch them out so that they really show the time lapse of how that story unfolded, know how to articulate it from the point of view of somebody looking or listening to the story, and then figure out how to lay that story out in all the different mediums, from marketing to sales to culture to core values, all those things that are unique and what makes your business thrive. So know your story, know how to tell it, and know how to really understand it. I'm Ron Dichter. This is Projecting Grandeur. I do this every day to help entrepreneurs because those are the people that are changing the world. And any wisdom that I have, I want to share it with you. So if you're tuning in, please don't forget to like and comment. And most importantly, share. There's a lot of amazing people doing really just awesome things right now. And we need to try to help them as best we can. Thanks so much. Have a great day.